Much, Ben. Thanks for joining us today from the Alaska Airlines headquarters out in Seattle. Hey, I'm curious about something. You guys posted a profit for the third quarter at a time when a lot of your competitors are still posting losses. What was the key to profitability in your opinion?
Well, thanks, Phil. Yeah, it was just a great quarter, 12% pre-tax margin. You know, our first profit since the pandemic began. I just want to start by thanking just the amazing employees at Alaska. They've worked through this pandemic, and now we're celebrating a great success. Some of the key, strategies were how we deploy capacity. We had a very measured approach, a very disciplined approach, and we only brought back 80% of our capacity. That allowed us to match supply and demand, but also, allowed us to execute our operation in a very good way. So we had, top performance, and we were near the top of the industry for operational performance in terms of on-time arrivals and completion rates. So, that's a huge key to it.
Ben, you have huge exposure to Alaska, hence the name Alaska Airlines, and you also have huge exposure to California, basically up and down that coast. Alaska is getting hit by COVID-19, a surge in cases up there. California has the mask mandates, which has, for some people down there, said, look, tourism is not where it should be. How are you managing those two areas, and how much is that weighing on your business?
So far what we're seeing is, some impact. Of course, the Delta variant has weighed on our results. Pretty much for September, we're seeing some impact in October. But we're starting to see a shift here, right now in the last 2 weeks. We're seeing bookings strengthen. In fact, what we said for the fourth quarter, Phil, is that we hope to be break even to slightly positive, as we end the quarter. So we're starting to see this Delta variant get into the rearview mirror, and we're starting to see some positive traction.
Ben, are you concerned about staffing shortages? And I bring this up because the Wichita airport said that you guys were cutting back some of your flights from there, and they cited labor shortages. And frankly, this is an industry that, when it comes to pilots and when it comes to certain areas, staffing can be a little bit tight, especially when you have the vaccine mandates coming in. What are you sitting at in terms of staffing, and do you have any concerns there?
No, we're in a good position now with staffing. Like I said, I think one of the keys was how we deploy capacity. We're reintroducing capacity as a measured rate, so we're at 80% now. We'll be at 100% by next summer. So staffing right now is good. We're hiring. We're getting people into the door. We're hiring 600 pilots next year, 800 flight attendants, 130 mechanics, over 1,100 airport workers. So far, we're not having trouble attracting folks into the door, so I feel good about our staffing numbers. But it is a challenge, especially at the entry-level entry-level labor market in a place like Seattle. But so far, so good. We're making some traction.
Ben, it's Kelly here. If I could just ask how you're managing jet fuel costs, especially the volatility that we might see, and do you have any hedging strategies for that could maybe benefit or cause some concern?
Yeah. Kelly, great question. So nobody likes paying more for gas. And, whether you're pumping it into your car or in this beautiful 737 MAX that's behind me, the cost of fuel is a huge drag. So quarter to quarter, we're seeing about a 30-cent increase in the price of fuel per gallon. And for us, that amounts to about $50 million. And so that's a huge impact to the bottom line. So in terms of fuel hedging, we're 50% hedged on our fuel. So that's going to take the sting out of fuel. But it's still a drag, and unfortunately, it's going to mean a little higher ticket prices for consumers.
Ben, that was going to be my question. We talked to Scott Kirby at United yesterday. He said, look, higher jet fuel prices will mean higher ticket prices. How much do you expect percentage-wise your ticket prices to go up, either in the fourth quarter or into the first quarter?
It's hard to say, Phil. The Alaska mindset is always to have a low-cost, low-fare, mentality. So, again, we want to make sure that we keep fares competitive, and we'll see how fuel, transpires here over the next quarter. So, hard to say. Our goal is to bring people on our airplanes and give them a competitive fare, and we'll try and manage our way through this fuel spike.